Welcome to our next episode. We have水田Sensei. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So last time we talked about like your journey to, building this company, and at the beginning, education wasn't your major, but I think you've always had education as an important part of your life because English and Japanese and trying to juggle with both is a really, really hard thing. But how did you get into this like education industry?
Thank you. So I joined the education industry and made a choice to become an educator when I started this company. So it's been 10 years. And thank you. So but my first career choice, like you mentioned, wasn't in education. I had a corporate job.
Right.
I was working for a Japanese subsidiary of a Fortune 500 US company that made consumer goods, and I loved the job. But I think I made the switch because I think I wouldn't say secondary, but I for some reason couldn't really see myself being a teacher. Until the last minute, and it wasn't until I had committed to building a company that serves TCKs, and then when I thought about how best I might be able to serve TCKs with what I had, I turned out to become maybe tutoring might be the best option. So the thing about trying to serve TCKs came first, and then empowering TCKs through education came after that.
So there might have been other possibilities of other ways of supporting TCK.
I was at Harvard Business School, and I was really lucky because I was asked the question of what gives you meaning and purpose in life should be what guides your career. I know, right? It's my wonderful professor called Young-Mi Moon. Thank you, Professor Young-Mi Moon. Long story short, for me it boiled down that if I could serve people who have multiple cultural, linguistic language backgrounds to thrive rather than feel lonely and confused in this colorful world we have, that would be worth it. It would be worth it. It would be worth my career. And it was 2014, and good startups built apps back then.
Right.
In 2024, I think cool startups are supposed to build something with generative AI. It was just the thing. And I mean, I'm not saying that, apps are wonderful, by the way. Lots of friends build apps, and I think that's wonderful. So I had an app, actually. I had an idea for an app. I had a wireframe, and I rented a car in California, and I drove through California interviewing different TCKs. And California is very diverse. And you probably know that. I specifically chose TCKs in their teens that were from different Asian cities and regions, and some were like second generation, some were just just straight off the boat. So I told them that, so this is what I want to achieve in my life, and I think TCKs are underserved, and I want to improve that through starting a new company, and this is my idea. Would you use this app, and how much would you pay for it, were my questions. And essentially, in different ways and forms, they told me that I can really resonate with the problem you're describing, but your app is useless.
That's brutal.
It was nice forms. They're very, but
honest criticism.
Exactly. No, they were trying to help me, I think. So it's like they could really relate with, that kind of burning pain we feel with the transition, as well as that kind of lingering discomfort. And they could really relate to that, but that app, exactly. But to me, I mean, they just will not pick it up. And so I was like, okay, so, but I was like 28 at that point. I remembered what it felt like, but maybe I was a bit disconnected with the actual experience of being a kid, feeling alone, and trying not to disappoint the parents, but not really knowing what's coming next. So I was actually swimming in the Harvard Business School swimming pool. It took me,
that sounds really cool, actually.
Thank you.
I've never heard about this story before, so it's really refreshing.
Thank you. Okay. So I was like, so maybe I need to do a little more of a deep dive into soul searching of maybe it was about me trying to do something cool with the company, or trying to follow the context of a startup. Maybe from fear, maybe wanting to fit in. But then when I really thought about what would I have used, what would have helped me in that moment, I came down to tutoring, because I felt like what would have really helped me was somebody who would have listened to me. And people listened to me, yes, they did, but somebody that made me feel heard and seen and helped me feel normal about things, somebody who would comfort me, and comfort coming from a place of really understanding the experience and actually knowing what was going on, versus I had adults listening to me and trying to comfort me, but the harder they tried, the more guilt, the more guilt I felt of not actually feeling comforted. So it was a big mess. But so I felt like I wanted somebody who would just listen to me, be chill about it, not freak out at the fact that I was freaking out, and comfort me in a way of like, yeah, I actually really know how that feels, and that must be really hard for you. And I'm not saying that makes it any less, but let me tell you that what you're feeling is absolutely normal. There's nothing wrong with you, and if anyone had the same experience, they would be feeling that way, and it's completely normal, and you are okay. And you can start when you're ready, but maybe here are a few things that you can work on to actually build something that you want to see in the future. So I wanted somebody like that, and but when I thought about trying to start like a counseling or a mentorship company, the idea of like a 28-year-old showing up in front of like a 12-year-old and telling her like, you can tell me about your deepest fears, was like, it's just very creepy. That would creep me out. So who is somebody who can be in a trusted place where you can build a connection if the child chooses to? I thought it was maybe a tutor. Exactly. But it's always an option, never forced. And I thought that might work. So yeah, that's how I became a tutoring company. Thank you.
And thank you. I've always had like really good mentors or teachers, so I've had role models. And that's also the reason why I've been really interested in education. I was in middle school when this company started.
Exactly. No,
it's
serious.
crazy.
My first students are actually young, like around your age. Seriously. So and like you mentioned, I'm a co-chair of a Japanese affiliate of a nonprofit called FIGT, Families in Global Transition, and that NPO is centered around the experience of families and kids going through the TCK experience. And I feel like it's in layers. Like we're part of a lineage of TCKs that have had experiences. They've been through childhood, they've been through a period of being a young adult, they sometimes become parents, and they become teachers, and it's different. It's colorful, different, valuable versions of the same story. So we are not alone.
We're together.
So that's how I got into education.
Thank you so much. Speaking of education, can I ask you about your daughter?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my daughter, I am very blessed to be a mom of a 3.5-year-old.
Oh,
yay!
So cute.
Thank you.
She started like maybe talking more and more like every single day.
Yeah, her language development, it's like seeing a bud bloom into a flower. And in Japanese, they have several versions of the proverb that basically goes like, if you're a professional of something, it's very hard to apply that professional knowledge to your personal life.
No,
Do you have any?
I don't know. No, but it makes sense. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
そう、なんか今夜の白バカマとか、専門家は自分にはそのスキルを使えないみたいな。So I kind of know that me being an educator is not going to be, at the best, not going to hurt my daughter. I would not be able to apply it well. If I don't control it, it might kind of negatively influence her experiences. So I try to split my worlds. But yeah, but it is hard to not kind of see her through that framework of when kids develop, there's like phases in her language, and you can't help but notice that she starts using tenses. Sometimes her sentences no longer are egocentric. It's always been I, but then
she's growing, she's maturing.
It's very valuable and it's very precious. It is kind of scary because because I guess like in most things in life, there's really no dress rehearsal. There's really no dress rehearsal or like a script to be a parent.
You just do it.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Do you want your daughter to maybe like speak English in the future? Like, right?
That's the big questions, and I think my answer is yes. It's a very complicated debate for me.
I
The whole reason I founded the company Kids was because it's so hard to try to be functional, good enough bilateral person. Knowing what happened to me, would I make the choice of making her go through it is one question. But then on the other hand, and I choose to be on this side now. I mean, it's a balance, but I've come to terms with my selfishness, and I own my selfishness now at this point. But I want to share my world with my daughter, and if I don't ever share the fact that there are different languages out there, and I don't share my American English identity, experiences, knowledge with her, she's never going to know the full me. And so she, I guess, valid. At some point has veto rights. But and the crazy thing is she's not going to start exercising her veto rights for the next 10 years or so. So I don't think she might. So it's kind of cruel at the same time. But I think my preference is that I be able to share the full world I have with her, and that does entail English. So and the big question is at what cost?
Right. It's a really difficult question.
It is, yeah. It is, yeah.
I hope it goes
Thank
well.
you. Thank you.
It will.
I don't have any answers, personal answers to it, nor do I have good advice. At this point, I'm just praying that a miracle would happen and that she would somehow magically turn out to be someone who has very strong language skills in her mother tongue, which is, I think, aka Japanese for her. And then so maybe she has the space to learn a second language easily, which is not going to happen, obviously. It's never going to be easy, but yeah, the hope is there. Some signs of hope I've observed in the past, I think, several months is that she's aware that there are languages in the world. She somehow knows that her parents sometimes switch modes. And
Wait, do you talk to both English and Japanese within your family?
Right, I think the dominant language in my family is Japanese, but there are topics which my husband and I speak in English.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh,
my husband has English-speaking friends who occasionally visit Japan.
So she's witnessed those moments, and she somehow like connected the dots.
Exactly. So she opens English books in our home, and she pretends she can read them. She sounds like, and by the way, the book is upside down and everything, but she recognizes that it's there. So
that's a good.
I think so. I don't know. And her relationship with English is that like she has a love and hate relationship, which is I think where we all start. She's like when my husband and I speak English, she's like, 英語話さないで Oh, she just said that みたいな2人で盛り上がって2人真似したいみたいな She wants to fake that she can speak English to my
I remember.
Do you remember that phase?
Like I remember when I was little. So my cousin is basically American, like Japanese American. So she spoke like fluent, perfect English, right?
Yeah.
And
that benchmark,
before I went to the States. Yeah. So when I was like maybe 3, 4, early 3, 4, I was playing with my cousin because it's like summertime and she comes back every summer. And I was pretending to speak English while she spoke like real English.
It must have been so endearing to see that, but what was it like as being that person in that moment?
I think I don't know. As a child, you want to be better at things.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Right? You want to be able to like do jump ropes and you want to be able to write and then you want your parents to be like, oh, you're good. Like, you want that validation. So I think it was part of like seeking validation, but also like my urge to just like want to do more stuff like as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. The way you verbalize that. That's special.
I think your daughter maybe like she also has that urge to be like, I want to be included in this conversation.
Exactly.
I want to
be left
understand.
out.
Yeah.
But then there's that kind of joy of kind of exploring it.
Yeah.
But then there's that sense of like, oh, I want to be good.
Good.
At what I do. Oh, it's more fun and fun as you go because the stories come together.
Right.
I can kind of see my childhood through my mother's lens better now that I'm a mom, and
Right.
the idea that she spent so much time, and yeah, it gets scarier. It's a bit scary, but yeah.
Does your parents also like speak English?
Yeah, my parents actually went to grad school together in the US, so.
So do you speak to them in English?
No.
Never.
That's the weirdest thing on earth. I would not.
But
Would I?
You have seen them speak English, like
Yes, I have. Yeah, their English is. I'd say that it's academically driven. So I guess
I feel like that's more difficult for some reason for me.
I know what you mean. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
yeah.
For us, it's like we grew up in playgrounds. So
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, but for them, it's like they can use words like ostentatious. It means like you're show-offy, like.
Oh, okay.
And but then
Wow.
they would not know. I don't know. They would not know
Like
random,
slangs,
normal,
right.
words that you would use in like for example, describe symptoms of a cold. For example, they would struggle with that, or like trying to talk about in what way your tummy hurts would be a challenge for them.
Right.
They might be like abdomen.
But it's still really cool.
So nice.
I hope our viewers can like kind of relate to our stories and
Right.
also, feel okay that you don't know what's the best decision for yourself or for your child. It's okay. We're all struggling and we're all trying to figure out. So yeah, but of course, like if you have any like thing you want to talk about, please contact us.
Yeah.
And
No, seriously, we've had students who have TCKs as moms.
oh really?
Yeah, exactly. So what is
So
a mother
cool.
tongue for TCK? No, I mean, I just really 10 years, and I owe it all to so many people, but especially our clients and students and their
Yes.
wonderful parents,
Yes.
mothers, dads.
Yes.
Thank you for blazing the trail, showing the path, and yeah, it's the same source. It's like not having clear answers or have a go-to track to follow is also, it's a source of uncertainty and a lot of thinking for sure, but it's also like an opportunity to like create our own stories and to share them with the free community, because the world is going to change in that direction.
Yes.
And I think that, I hope that I feel empowered as a mom to try to like kind of make the best decision I can with my daughter, and not to worry too much about like what's been done in the world so far, what people might think of me, because we might be the start of a bigger crowd in the future. So hopefully,
I like that.
ganbaru.
Find our way.
I'll see how calm I can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.
And please follow us on Instagram, X, and Line. And if you would like to ask us any questions, please click the link in the description and you can have a free consultation with us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
日本語しか出てこない。
そういう時もある。そういう時もある。いいんじゃない？